Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Prophet of mankind, the peace of our heart and mind, the most generous and kind, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, has said, indeed, he who recites salat durood upon me the most will be the closest to me on the day of judgment. Please recite after me, as-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah, as-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabi Allah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nur Allah. Please recite the following dua after me. Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, open the doors of knowledge and wisdom for us, and have mercy on us. O the one who is the most honorable and glorious. In our last speech, we discussed the aqid we need to have regarding the hereafter and resurrection. And this week, inshaAllah Azza wa Jal, we will discuss the topic of Jannat. Jannat is an abode which Almighty Allah has created for the believers. He has placed such splendors in Jannat that no eye has ever seen this before, and no ear has ever heard of it, and nor has the thought of these splendors have passed through the mind of any person. None can ever experience the true realities and bounties of Jannat in this world. The only one that has been blessed with experiencing all the bounties and all the beauties of Jannat is the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever has been explained about Jannat is only to give an idea of the beauties and splendors of Jannat. The most beautiful things on earth cannot be compared in any way to anything in Jannat. There is no doubt that nothing can be compared to Holy Paradise, but the Holy Kaaba is greater in status than Jannat, and as for the blessed grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then this is even greater than the Kaaba, and more majestic than the Arsh of Almighty Allah, which is the most majestic station in the skies. The Arsh is a creation of Almighty Allah, and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the greatest of all creation. It is thus very evident that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being the greatest of Almighty Allah's creation, is without doubt more exalted in position than the Arsh. One can therefore not compare the pleasures and tranquility of Jannat. If one of the maidens of Jannat has to peep into the world, then through her beauty the sky, the entire skies and earth will be lit up and filled with fragrance. Her beauty will surpass the brightness of the sun and the moon. Her headgear is greater than the world and all its possessions. If a Hur, maiden of Jannat, has to show her palm between the skies and the earth, then the creation will be plunged into turmoil due to her beauty. If she reveals her headgear, then its beauty will be more than that of the sun. The sun compared to the beauty of her headgear will be like a candle in front of the sun.
If anything from Jannat equivalent to a fingernail has to fall onto earth, then the entire skies and earth will be adorned by it. If the comb of a Jannat is revealed, then the brightness of the sun will be hidden. The smallest space in Jannat, even an amount of space that one needs to keep a dustbin, is greater than the world and all its possessions. Only Almighty Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam know how vast Jannat is. The explanation for understanding is that it has 100 levels. The distance between every two levels is the distance between the skies and the earth. As for the issue of how vast each level is, then no such narration comes to mind right now. It is mentioned in Tirmizi Sharif that if all the worlds have to be put into one level, then this one level is sufficient for everything. There is a tree in Jannat that if a fast horse has to ride in its shade for 100 years, it will still remain under its shade. The doors of Jannat are so broad that from one end to the other end of the door is the distance that a fast horse will travel in 70 years. With all this, the amount of people that will enter Jannat will be so many that they will be touching elbows, struggling to enter. Because of the crowds of people, the doors will start to make noises. There are all types of mansions therein, which are made of precious stones. They are so beautiful and pure that the inside can be seen from the outside and the outside can be seen from the inside. The walls of Jannat are made from gold and silver bricks, which are fixed together by musk. One brick will be made of gold, followed by a silver one. The ground will be made of saffron, and instead of stones, there will be pearls and other precious stones. It is in one narration that the bricks of Jannat are of white pearl, reddish diamonds, and green emeralds. These bricks have been placed alternately, and are bound by musk. Instead of grass, there is saffron, pearls instead of stones, and sand made from amber. There is a tent in Jannat, made from pearls. The height of this tent will be 60 miles. There are 4 rivers in Jannat, one of water, one of milk, one of honey, and one of heavenly wine.
There are streams which flow from each river into the homes of every Jannati. The streams in Jannat do not flow after being dug up, but they flow on the surface. The banks of each stream are of pearls and rubies, and the sand below the water is made from musk. The wine of Jannat is not like the wine of this world, which is overcome with a foul odour and a bitter taste, and causes a person to become drunk and lose his sense of judgment. The wine of Jannat is pure of all the above-mentioned shortcomings which are found in the wine of the world. The Jannatis will eat all the delicacies in Jannat. Whatever they desire for will appear before them. If a person sees a bird and wishes to taste its flesh, then immediately it will appear welcome before him. If he thinks of water, etc., then the jug will come by itself in his hand. The jugs will have exact amount of water, milk or honey in it that the person desires. There will not be one drop more or less than desired by the Jannati. After the person drinks from it, it will return to where it came from. In Jannat, there will be no impurities such as urine, stool, nose fluid or ear fluid, etc. The Jannatis will only burp a fragrant and comfortable burp. Once perspiration will be fragrant and comfortable, and this will cause all the food eaten to be digested. The scent of musk will be present in one's burp and perspiration. Every person will have the length of the 100 men to eat, drink, and gain sexual satisfaction. Those in Jannat will continuously make tasbih with intent and without intent, like the flow of one's breath. There will be 10,000 servants standing at the head side of every person. Each one of them will have a bowl of gold and a bowl of silver in their hands, which will be full of exalted and splendid things. No matter how much a person eats, the taste will never become less. In reality, the taste will increase. Every morsel will have 70 tastes, and each taste will be better than the next, which will be felt simultaneously.
The clothes of the Jannatis will never become old, and they will remain young forever. When the first group of Muslims enter Jannat, their faces will be as bright as the full moon. The second Jamaat's faces will be as bright as the brightest star. They will all live in harmony, and there will be no disunity or jealousy among them. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept our efforts and give us the ability to learn and safeguard our Aqida. Ameen. Next week, inshallah Azza wa Jalla, we will continue to discuss the topic of Jannat, paradise. Until then, please remember us in your du'as. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.